What's up? We're here with episode 17 of Mic Cuddles.
Look at dude.
Like, where has it gone?
Laura Seiko's got nothing on you. Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. You know.
Taking her spot. Over.
Speaking of that, I'm like, you've been all over the place doing commentary,
Crazy.
Fight Pass, everything like that. How's that been?
It's been good. It's been good. It's I love it. What a lead. What a great question. No, it's so right before we got on, like I was like, Gillian, do the intro, go, boom. And like you killed it, of course, because it's you. By the way, you're gonna what are you fighting? 5 weeks? 6 weeks? It's crazy. It's coming.
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Super close.
Getting ready. So we'll talk about that. No, so like it was just so got a call like a week before the show, and a couple things happened. So all of a sudden it was going to be on Fight Pass, and Dean's like, "Hey, you're going to commentate for it on Fight Pass." So it was awesome because it's like for the first time and blah blah blah. And then I had to do the voiceover for it the night before. That was super cool. I never did that for like the intro. So then like the producer, who was like awesome, everyone that worked for Fight Pass was super cool. They were great, like really, really professional, right? So at 6:15, like Central Time, I call it fake time, like 45 minutes before the show, they record the open. Like, didn't you and Charles and Shorty do like an open before for Fight Pass, right? And they had you record it beforehand, right?
Yes.
Okay, so like that, the same thing to me. They're like 45 minutes. It's going to be me and Uli Diaz is going to record it. And like they're having technical stuff happen. It's like 6:15. They're like, guys, just give us a little bit. Like, we'll get back to you at 6:30, 6:40. So 6:40 rolls around 20 minutes before the show. They're like, hey, let's do it. We're going to record it, go for a minute or two. And then like, we'll kind of edit it. We'll put some, video shit behind it. And that'd be your intro. I'm like, dope. So we kill it. It's awesome. We were like, we nail it. We feel good about it. And like the producer, you can tell like he's in my ear. He's also in like the cameraman's ear. And they go, man, it's awesome, but the audio sucks. Like the feedback from the audio, something happened and we can't use it. So I'm like, oh shit. It's like 6:45. It's like 12, 13 minutes before showtime. And they go, we don't have enough time for us to like record it again and then do the edits and everything. So you and Uli, you're just going to do it live. You're going to do it live. Like as soon as the show starts, we're going to. I'm like, fuck. I'm like stressed out, feel the pressure. Like that was the thing because like, you and I did it together and I wish you and I were doing that together. Like when we're calling fights, like we're just vibing. We're calling what we're seeing. I don't want to say it's easy, but it's like we're calling fights. We're watching fights. It's what we love, right? It's dope. But like that intro is like you're kind of like a showmanship a little bit. You got to like put some stuff into it and be like professional. And then like, of course, you don't want to mess up a name or a word or some bullshit. So like when they tell me, they're like, yeah, you got to do it live, like 200 countries, Fight Pass, let's go. I was like, oh my gosh. Crazy.
Way to put the pressure on you.
I know. I felt like in a weird way was probably the best, like just rip Band-Aids off. Cause they say, it happens all the time in TV and especially live TV and fights and everything like that. Cause that's what happens. Like it's so crazy. Cause when you and I did it, like there was no one in her ear. It was just you and I in her ear, I think. Right. Or maybe I'm not too sure, but this one, it was like the producer was more like, all right, tail the tape is coming in 10. All right. 6. All right. 2 seconds, David. It's like, you can't just leave that time blank. Like you have to make it like it's a organic conversation. Sure. Like, yeah, Pearl Gonzalez is going to be in the co-main event. And here's the tail of the tape. Like it's wild. It's so crazy.
I'm like, that's something, I would be great at, like organic conversation.
Oh my God.
Not exactly my specialty to be put on the spot like that, but I'm like that. So it's like all props to you there. Like it takes so much. I feel like I don't know, just confidence in those moments. I feel like that's my biggest thing is talking. I'm like I have no problem I have no problem with my confidence when I'm choking people. It's to talking in front of the cameras that I'm like. I just need to figure that out. I need, like you said, you don't want to mess up. You don't want to stumble over your words. I feel like people also don't understand how much pressure it is when you're like first on camera. Like when I was first in the Tough House, I'm like, I would literally be dripping sweat after every interview because I was just so nervous. So I'm like, just that is like impressive on its own.
It's just wild because like even what we're doing now, like you and I can, like if we timed it, and sometimes we do this all the time, we're like, okay, let's try to keep it 20-30 minutes sweet. And like before you know it, before like I have a couple, template points on a piece of paper and a permanent black marker, but like usually we just go and it's like, oh shit, gee, we're 27 minutes into it. Like you and I can have like a conversation about anything, or especially about fights and stuff, and roll with it. But when Fight Pass, especially the lead, like that lead intro, you have to like bring energy. You have to like introduce the show, and there's a couple names and a couple fights they want you to bring up. And then of course, like I'm not vanilla. Like I am vanilla, but you know what I mean? I'm not like just super generic. I like in my intro, I literally mentioned Justin Timberlake, and I literally mentioned like I had this awesome close that I like hit on the spot. And so when we did it at 640, like I did it in front of Dean, who's the boss of the show and all that. And as soon as I did, he goes, "Holy shit, Dave, that's awesome. Like, why didn't you tell me that's a great line?" Like my line was, they don't call it UFC Talk Pass, they call it UFC Fight Pass. So let's get to the action. And like it just came off the top of my head. I'm like, let's just go with it. Boom. So like Dean's like, dude, that's awesome. I love that. Like, definitely do that. And so like when we had to do it live, I'm like, I knew I had to close with that one. And like I said, I had an analogy with Justin Timberlake. So like, I just didn't want to, I didn't want to fuck it up. I didn't want to like say something wrong or stumble on my words. For that, after that minute and a half, I was like, oh, dude, I'm ready. Like it was just gold after that.
Then you're headed out this week for our girl Taylor Starling fighting for the bare knuckle belt.
I know. I think you and I have talked about this multiple times. I feel more stressed out for Taylor's fight that I have nothing to do with. I will not be involved. I will not be in the ring. Won't be in her corner. It's our girl. It's my girl. It's our family. And it's like, I'm more stressful for that than I was for like myself being live on TV over 200 countries. It's so crazy. I'm like, already it's Tuesday night recording this. I'm like, I can't wait. I cannot wait to go.
I feel like being a fighter, it's like it's almost more stressful to watch like someone that you care about fight than it is to fight yourself. Yeah. It's like when you're in the moment, it's like you have control of everything. If you I don't know, everything that's going on, or you can react in any kind of way. You have control of everything. But it's like watching somebody else, it's like something's not going the right way or something. You're like, oh, why aren't you doing this? Like, this is it's just so stressful. You always want the best for your friends, obviously. And in these moments, it's like anything can happen. Like, it's such a high pressure situation. But I know Taylor's more than ready for it.
She is. She's so ready. I've talked to her a couple of times already kind of this week. She had such a good travel to Albuquerque. She feels... So she's like, she is from there. Like I kind of said, kind of from there. She is from there. I know she was born in Florida and kind of that Tampa, Lakeland area. But a lot of her like teenage years and her high school years and growing up years is from Albuquerque. And that's when even like the beginning of the whole fight stuff happened too, is in New Mexico. So she feels like really, really good about going back, and kind of like, this when even during high school or like those years when you're kind of like feeling out who you are, and there's always like in any of those generic-y movies or TV shows, there's always like dumb bullies or people you're like, you wish you would talk to back then. And now you come back and you're kind of like, dude, Taylor's like the star of the show. She is the main event title challenger. She's undefeated. She looks great. She feels great. Like she has this like homecoming, and like a lot of like I told you, like everyone didn't believe me, but like, look at me now. It's like, she feels really good about that.
Oh, that's so awesome for her. I'm like, just such a big opportunity in general of fighting for the belt. And I'm just super excited for it. I'm super excited. Who else is there's another fight card this weekend.
One?
Isn't there a UFC? Oh, no.
Nope.
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking the next week and after. I think there's another card coming up that I was thinking of. But
so,
I was going to say, what about last weekend's card?
I know. I'm going to go there with you. Like, so last weekend was so retarded, right? So it was the event I was doing, and then it was a bare knuckle one with Perry and MVP out there in London. Then the PFL was out there with Kayla Harrison in the main event in London. Then the UFC, and we'll get in the pay-per-view. We'll kind of get into that. I have a funny story about that as well. And then, it was just a crazy-ass weekend. this weekend itself, it's funny. Like there is no UFC or Bellator or PFL. There's the one championship. Demetrius Johnson's fighting on that. But like this weekend, they kind of cleared it out for Taylor. Like she is like the focal point of combat sports, which is dope.
Which that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like a lot of my teammates are fighting this weekend, so maybe that's why my head's there. For actually Titan FC this weekend.
Oh, okay. Dope.
So there's Ryan Coos, Adrian Garcia, Josh Mercado, and Gus Villamil. I'm like, I think there's one more too. We have the whole team on the card, so that's gonna be awesome. Then a couple other fighters on the XFN card the night after. So I think that's why I'm thinking so many fights this weekend.
Are you going to Titan?
Yes, I'll be there.
Are you commentating on it?
I'm not going to commentate. Just going as a fan, supporting the team, and like I said, I'm pretty sure we have 5 or 6 guys on the card, so it's going to be awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, like Goat has been killing Titan FC lately. They've been dominating those shows, like dominating. I've been seeing.
Oh yeah, everywhere. The Titan last weekend on Combate, we had 2 guys win. Jarrett Betancourt and actually, I can't say the other one yet. We're on a reality show, so I can't say who fought or who won or anything.
That preview's insane. Like I saw it on their social on like the Goat's Instagram. Like that preview commercial thing was bananas. There's fire in the gym. Like what's going on?
It actually comes out tomorrow night, the first episode. So that'll be our fighter on that card. So that's who fought last week, who did absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, so maybe make sure to watch that tomorrow night.
That's awesome. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Well, maybe they did okay.
Yeah.
It's like Juliana Miller talking to us. Like, yeah, watch the fight. I don't know. Maybe I did good. We'll see. Like
exactly.
I actually just talked to her yesterday, and you came up, and she's like so giddy. She's still like on a cloud 9. She says she's never been like more inundated with like people and interviews and stuff of that nature. And it was funny, like, cause like I haven't talked to her since, and I knew she would be. So like I kind of like when that happens, I might most of the time, like I try to like take a back seat because I don't want to be that person. Like if they want to reach out, like they will. So yeah, she reached out yesterday. We kind of talked back and forth, dude. So still so happy for her. That's crazy. It's like MMA happened so quick. Like that was such a huge moment, especially for her. And it's like now it's like already in the past because Leon Edwards just head kicked the shit out of Usman for the championship. It's nuts. So let me tell you this funny story about that. And then I don't know, maybe you did the same thing because I know Gillian's bed schedule is usually pretty early. So the show for Fight Pass was in Biloxi, Mississippi, Friday night. Do the show. We killed it. It was one of those things, you know, you do good. So we killed it. Go out. Maybe had 2 shots of tequila. I'm not too sure. Our kids we had like a birthday party like midday the next day. So I'm like, I should be okay. But it was like, I would meet them there and that kind of thing. But then one of my daughters wasn't feeling good. So instead of like my wife bringing all the kids to this party, she's like, hey, if you can get your butt back here, like I'll take just our son to the birthday party and you can stay at home with the girls because one of the girls wasn't feeling good. So I'm like, oh, wow. So like I definitely have to be there. So drove through the whole night, like Biloxi, Mississippi, drove through to Daytona Beach, Florida, get there in time, take care of the girls. My wife and Dylan goes to the birthday party. They kill it, have the best time ever, come back. But now like I'm going like 50 hours and I've slept for like 3 hours and I was all nervous the night before. So I'm like horrible, you know? So it's like 6:30, 7 o'clock. And I usually kind of watch the fights with people, but I'm like, I know I'm so tired. And I just like didn't want to be around anyone. I'm like, I'm just going to watch the fights by myself. And I have my phone by me and I'm watching AJ Fletcher in that prelim fight. And I'm watching AJ Fletcher. The next thing I remember, I look at my phone and it says 4 missed calls, 24 messages, and like 17 DMs. And it's 1:55 a.m. And I guess like the Leon Edwards thing just happened and everyone's hitting me up to like talk to us and talk to me. And I fell asleep. I missed everything.
Yeah. I was just about to say the AJ Fletcher fight, I'm pretty sure is the exact point where I fell asleep that night too. We were right about on the same schedule.
Yes.
I woke up, obviously like I try to avoid the news, but like the next morning when I wake up, but like first thing when you open up Instagram, the
Yeah.
memes are just everywhere.
Everywhere.
It was just that fight, really, primarily, that I saw a lot, and a little bit of the Luke Rockhold smearing blood on Yoel's face.
Yeah.
I'm like, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, those are the two memes that were all over that I just couldn't avoid.
Yeah, 1,000%. So, like, I don't know why. I think because people were calling me, and usually I do when I do go to bed, especially with fight fitness and stuff. I turn my phone on silent because it's just like ding, 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 like all night. And so I didn't because I fell asleep watching the fights, and my phone was wild at 150. So then, like, I'm up and I see everyone's like Edwards knocking. I'm like, whoa, like what did we just see? Like, okay, like I'm figuring it out. And the same thing. So this is the worst part. So I go to socials and like you see the head kick knockout and you see it right away. You're like, oh my gosh, Leon caught him. And then like it takes me like 20 minutes of going through Twitter and watching like I'm up now. I'm watching the press conference and I'm like, oh, wait a second. He was getting killed. Like he was losing and it was like a Hail Mary. And then like, I don't know if you saw it, like the whole like Leon Edwards' corner and how their coaches were yelling at him to like get into the fight. It's like the greatest thing ever. It's the best. And it's just like this. I feel like it was like, I don't know, like it's a really good salad. Like first bite's good, but then you just start learning more. Wait, there's corn in this salad. Wait, Thousand Island. This is cool. Good salsas in this. And it was just like, I just kept on getting more flavors. I'm like, oh my gosh, like Edwards was losing. Like Usman was about to easily retain the championship. And he throws this head kick with a minute left and knocks him out. Like cold. It was nuts.
Yeah, no, absolutely crazy ending. But I think what was absolutely even crazier was the very beginning of the fight, the first round, when Leon goes out there and takes Usman down.
Yeah.
Maintains mount, takes his back. I think that honestly showed a lot. Obviously, Usman's never been on his back before,
right?
But that just showed like that's probably his weakest spot. It didn't look like he had much to offer from that position.
It's so funny you say that. It's so great because everyone thinks, and he's like Usman's this all be wrestler, but he's so offensive with it. No one really realized if you try to ever take him down or if you get control on him, yeah, he looked like a fish. Like he just didn't know what he was doing down there. It was like, wait a second, what are we watching here? It was so funny to like kind of see that. And like maybe like Francis, like we always think Francis has this huge power. But like it is funny when people make fun of his like boxing technique. He's actually like pretty disgusting. He's actually a bad striker. He's just so damn powerful. You just think he knocks out everyone. It's pretty wild. So like the same thing. What do you think happened? Like he won the first round. So yeah, same thing. I went back and watched it. He wins the first round. And then like after that, like he just died. Like what happened to Edwards for 20 minutes? Like it was so weird.
Yeah, exactly. No, I feel like he had such a phenomenal first round. And then when I think it was the second or the third, he was shooting, like he tried to shoot a double leg on Usman and got sprawled on it. And I'm like, that's just not smart. Like, I can understand the upper body and the clinch wrestling, but like shooting on a phenomenal wrestler like Usman, it's just not going to happen when you're someone like Leon Edwards.
Yeah, it was such a weird night. And the same thing. So, the Costa Rockhold fight was just super odd and weird and like just like a brawl, but like that was funky. And then
I don't know how, but I'm like, that fight was one of the worst fights I've ever watched, but was so entertaining.
Yeah.
I was so engaged the whole time. Like Luke would be hands on the knees, breathing heavy as anything, and then just swing a huge punch and almost knock Costa out. You'd be like, oh.
That's so funny you say that. The same thing so we were calling boxing stuff at the beginning of the night. The first fight was so bad. It was amazing. Like it was so bad. It was this guy was literally a sergeant in the army, like still in the army, still an active duty guy and not a boxer. Like he just kind of like, it was a short notice thing or whatever. And he's like, I've always wanted to do it. And I got heart. And he was a big fan of Masvidal and it was a gay bred show. So like he took this fight. It was awesome though. It was like just this stupid rock'em sock'em robot brawl. And it was like same thing. Like it was such a bad fight. It was awesome. It was great. It was just like so, and then like the Jose Aldo Marab fight, like why did Jose Aldo think he won? Like what was he doing? Like I don't under. It was such a weird night. Like and especially being in it, I would feel like more attached, but like I felt like I missed it. Still, I went back and watched it. I still feel like I missed it. Crazy night.
The Aldo Marab fight was probably the one I was the most excited for, and probably the most let down. Yeah. Like, I guess Marab fought a smart fight. He played it like how he should have, but it was just a boring fight. Aldo wasn't doing near enough, and Marab was just like wasn't able to pull anything off. He wasn't getting any takedowns, so he wasn't really being effective with anything. So it was just such a boring fight.
So two things there with the Marab thing, and I heard them both, and one is like such a not brilliant, but like I understand. Like they said it, I'm like, wow. If you think about it, so the week before, same division, bantamweight division, Chito Vera knocks the fuck out of Dominic Cruz, one of the best knockouts of the year. Chito Vera is getting so much love and so much pub, and everyone loves Chito Vera. He's a fighter's fighter, all that. So he just gets the knockout. And then Dillashaw and Starling, of course, is the main event. I mean, the bantamweight championship match, and they still got Jan and O'Malley's on that same card. And you would think both of them are still like they're both super excited, and whoever wins that, I would assume, gets the title shot. Like in a weird way. So this guy on a podcast said, like Marab, like, and usually, dude, 2 fights in a row, Marab was like the fight of the night. Like he's super exciting, usually kind of really chaotic and like stuff like that. I heard he did that style. They said they think he did that style because he didn't want to win in really spectacular fashion. And then like they try to make him and Starling, because he always says he will never fight Starling, their best teammates and best friends. So they said like he almost won that fight in boring style on purpose. So like we're not like people are not talking about Marab being a title challenger. Like there's still Chito there, and there's still O'Malley and Jan. I'm like, that's crazy if like, you know, like how hard the sport is. Like you don't choose how you win and lose. If Gillian, if I say right now, hey, you're going to win by a head kick knockout or a calf kick, you're like, hell yeah, Dave, give it to me. I'll take it. Like a win's a win in the sport. So like, you know, of course, I think people are just, you know, reaching for something because it was such a bad fight. But when they said that, I'm like, that's kind of wild to think that way.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that's what happened. I think, yeah, it's just like he couldn't get anything off on Aldo. Aldo is a legend for a reason, you know? Yeah. He had the belt for what, like 10 years, something like that, a crazy amount of time. And yeah, it's just like even his takedown defense just was phenomenal that night, but he wasn't doing enough. I feel like Aldo should have been doing a lot more, been picking up the pace.
Same thing. And I always say this, and this is just me, and this is just such a like a couch call, you know, like when all the fighter be like, God, that guy in the couch is calling it, but like Aldo, of course, you think the better striker, and of course the better, you know, kicker and the leg kicker and all that stuff, and you would assume he would do that, but he doesn't want to do that because he thinks it's an easier way to get taken down by Marab. And it's like I get that point, but then sooner or later, if you're down 2 rounds to nothing, like you have to go. Like if Aldo, if like the best thing you do is leg kicks and be aggressive and put you these combinations together, it doesn't matter if Marab takes you down. If that doesn't work, at least like you're losing the other way. Like you got to sooner or later be aggressive and throw. It's like the Rose Namajunas to Carla. It's like, oh yeah, you're stopping Carla taking you down, but like you're losing the fight, I guess, or you're just like Rose Namajunas did nothing that fight. And Aldo did the same thing. He's like, hey, Marab's not taking you down, but Aldo, like, you didn't do anything. Like, it was just such a weird thing. I don't know. Why?
Like, Aldo was sitting with his back up against the fence and, like, yawning and playing to the crowd. And I'm like, fight to get your back off the fence.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, don't just sit there the whole round because you're letting him hold you there. Like, you're defending the takedown, but then nothing's happening after you. Like, you have to do something. You can't just let him hold you, or it's your fault just as much as it is his that it's a boring fight.
I had such a good conversation. I debated with someone and I felt like I won, and they actually went to my side afterwards. A referee should never, ever, ever, ever stop in the middle of a round to like, hey, get up, or hey, move, get off the cage. When it's only 5 minutes of the round, it's not like it's in glory. There's like a 20-minute round. It's 5 minutes. And then usually fights are 3 rounds or 5 rounds. If you are like have someone down on the ground in a dominating position and this person can't move, like you are doing, like you are opposing your will on that person. Like I don't understand when like the referee goes, oh, you're not like moving or you're not getting damaged. Like you're literally holding this 125 female the same weight, close to the same height to you, like that, you're winning the fight. Like you're winning this transition or this spot. Like it is wild that the referee would stop it or move it. I think they should never ever do that. I think Daniel Cormier said the same thing. It's like they should never pick up a wrestler when they're on top of a striker. It's like it's such a bullshit call to me, at least.
There's absolutely nothing I hate more than a striker who sits on bottom and just looks at the ref.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
like,
stand it up.
Get
and
up.
I'm like, yeah, get up.
Yeah.
Learn how to stand up, and then like you won't have this problem. You don't have to sit there and just wait for the time to go. Like, learn how to get up. It's your job as a fighter. Like, you shouldn't have to be stood up at any point.
Right. And imagine like a grappler looked at a striker like 8 feet away from each other, like the cage, and just like put their hands in and be like, what are you going to do? Like, if you stay away from a striker can't get you. It's like the same thing if when the striker's on the ground and they're just being out grappled and out positioned and out wrestled, and just I say this all the time, just try to hold. Like I remember you and we grappled one time and it was a really close 50-50 coin toss. I don't remember who won that, but it's just like you opposing your will on another human being. Like that's the object of the game. Like I know people want to see a head kick knockout every now and then, but like the other stuff is a part of mixed martial arts. It's wild.
Obviously we're fighting within a rule set, but like imagine if it was like a street fight. Like if we're trying to figure out who the best fighter is, we're not gonna be, the ref's not gonna be like, oh, you're sitting on top for too long, let's get up. Like
crazy. Cool. I feel like we just started and we're 26 minutes and 54 seconds into the show. It's what we do. Crazy. I guess it kind of, I'm excited. Hopefully, maybe next week it might be me, you, and champion Taylor Starling. That'd be kind of cool to have her back. I don't think, or she came on yet, or I'm not too sure. You came on.
No, she hasn't came on here yet. So
there you go.
Gotta get her on here with the belt.
There we go. We'll do that. But yeah, the last 2 minutes is all on you, Gillian. Like how like camp is going great. How's everything? Life is good. So it's 4 weeks from a couple of days ago Saturday, or 4 weeks from this coming Saturday?
This is at the end of this week. This Saturday will be 3 weeks. So yeah, from this last Saturday, it's 4 weeks.
Next week is Paris. Then it's the pay-per-view, and then it's you guys.
Yes.
The Savage Show.
Oh yeah. I feel like it's coming up so fast, honestly, but it always does. Like, yeah. I'm always like, 16-week fight camp, that's forever. And now we're 4 weeks out, and I need a nap.
Okay. Is the main event of your show, is that the Corey Sandhagen one?
I think so. I'm honestly not sure. I haven't really been looking into it too much. I've been like so just in my own little tunnel, like just so focused on my fight, my like getting ready for it. Today I did 5-minute rounds in the cage with 2 different girls. So I had fresh girls every round, and I felt probably my best I have this camp. And I'm like feeling like this 4 weeks out. I'm like, I just feel like my confidence is going to be through the roof in this fight.
That's awesome. It is. I'm just looking it up on the Great Topology. So yeah, Sandhagen versus Song is the main event. Dude, your co-main event is so good. It's Sadiq versus Giga.
No, there's a lot of good fights on the card. I saw them get released, but I just remember it. Like I'll see one, I'll be like, oh, that's a good fight, and then it completely. I'm going back into my own fight, going back into my own world. I'm like, literally, I just think of Mashka's face every single day. Not to sound crazy. But
no. I had something super funny to say, but we'll say that off air. But there's 4 female fights on the card.
Aren't a couple in my division as well?
Yeah, the Morose and Eubanks.
Oh yeah, that's a good matchup. I think Eubanks is just. I feel like I don't know. It's the weight cut that's really her biggest enemy more than anything else. She's a solid fighter, but I think if she doesn't have a good cut, or sometimes I don't know. I think that's always been like her worst performances when she goes out there. You can tell like she missed weight by like 2 pounds. She had a tough time getting down to 25, and she just doesn't go out there and really fight her fight.
Aspen Ladd and Sarah McMahon at bantamweight, and then Lomo versus Deanna at 115.
Who is the first
Lomo,
one?
who was, remember she was going to fight Hannah?
Oh yeah, actually I know who you're talking about. She's good. Yeah.
She is good. She just fought Loopy.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad.
It's exciting.
It is. It is. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, we'll roll. We'll roll. I cannot wait. Super excited. Hey, like I said, I'm getting a lot of my Sky Miles. So if you need, a hype man in the corner, I'd be like, dude, Gillian, it's not UFC Talk Pass. It's UFC Fight Pass. Let's go. If you need me to say catchy, great lines, hey, whatever.
I know where to come.
Man, I'm so pumped. That's nuts. So yeah, 4 weeks away. Yeah, we'll do more stuff. And then, like I said, if you want to take that week off, or if you want to do something in Vegas, we'll figure that out. But then, yeah, the pay-per-views before that, Chimaev and Diaz is even before that. So yeah, we'll do something fun in the next week or two. But hopefully next week on this very show, we have our friend Taylor Starling with like a big shiny gold title, and we'll take it from there.
I was super excited for that. Can't wait.
You have, I just saw you drop some t-shirts, drop some merch.
Oh yeah, there is some Savage shirts on fanarch.com. So if you want to head over there and get yours, show your support. We're 4 weeks out, and I honestly haven't been this excited for a fight in a long time. I'm just so ready.
You can see it. Like, you can see it. We've been talking. There was like a run there, like before the Boston. It was like those 3 fights in a row. We talked every before fight. And like, you can tell sometimes when a weight camp, like the weight cut or camp is tough or an injury, you can tell you have this very good fight glow. You have.
I was about to say the fight camp glow.
Fight camp glow. But we'll make a post. We'll do a post with you, or we'll send me the link, and we'll kind of push those links out there on different socials. And yeah, well, dude, nothing's better than selling merch. It's the best feeling in the world.
Nothing's better than having a Savage shirt.
I know. That's true. I don't have one. I got to get one. So I got to go on to FanArch. That's what it is. FanArch.com. FanArch. All right. That's what we'll do. But we're out. That's Gillian the Savage Robertson. That's Be Friends t-shirt. Dave Van Auken, $8,000 outro on the way out. And we're done. Episode 17 officially in the books. There we go.